There were not any officers or anything in the hallway. He came towards me. At first, I thought he had come yet again to question me. As usual, he came very close to me. I could hear him breathing in my face. Often when he talked that close to me, his saliva sprayed my face. I thought that he was questioning me again, but he said, "I shall do something to you which makes you ashamed of yourself. We do not need to get any more information from you. As a matter of fact, we do not want you to say anything anymore." Then he began to push away my veil and began to undo my shirt buttons. I really thought that he only wanted to frighten me. I mean...
Were you blindfolded then?
I was blindfolded. I was blindfolded in the hallway, and my hands were fastened to the radiator. Then, of course, one would naturally react to such actions. I said, "What are you doing?" He forced the silk scarf, which he usually wore around his neck, into my mouth and carried on undoing my buttons. All I was left to defend myself with were my legs. My hands were fastened, and I was left with nothing else. I had been psychologically tortured for so long. Although I had not been beaten any more after the first time, psychologically I was destroyed. I was struggling. My body was so weak. My hands were fastened. I could not do a thing. At last he did what he intended to do, and then pulled my trousers up again and did my buttons up. Some people may be able to come to terms with such an experience by themselves, but unfortunately I have not been able to do that yet. I know he was my enemy. I know that was my enemy doing such a thing to me. He touched my body and raped me. Although even when he lashed me, that was a kind of rape, but I could manage to come to terms with that experience much easier than this. Because I feel the pain which was caused by being beaten is forgotten after a while. I mean, I would never remember the pain which I experienced from those cables which they use for beating me. But I still feel the psychological pain of being raped. I still even can feel the pain caused by being touched by his dirty hands. Remembering that is like... It's like a mother whose very child is being killed in front of her eyes. That is how I feel about that. I mean, that is my comprehension of what happened to me. It is so hard.
Did you tell anyone?
My father. I attempted suicide twice after I was raped. So I was taken to the hospital and my family was informed of the situation. My father was always... he was so concerned. He behaved in such a way that all the officers used to blame me. They used to say, "You have no respect even for your father. Your father is here all the time." My father also did not expect such a thing to happen to me. Baba said, "Why did you try to kill yourself?" I said, "Do you really wish to know?" An officer was there as well as my father. Baba said, "Yes, Of course. I must know. Tell me. You have done nothing wrong. You will be released soon. I said, it's not the fear of not being released, Baba. I tried to kill myself because an officer raped me. Then, for a moment, my father became frozen and remained speechless. He couldn't even blink. While tears were running down his face, Baba said, don't you worry about anything. We look after your child as you know always. Whatever you do, we shall support you. Myself, your sister, and your mother. I just wanted to know why you tried to kill yourself. There's only one thing that I wish to emphasize, and that is when the officer said, I shall do something to you which reduce you to nothing. And how right he was. It was because of that I attempted to kill myself twice. Rape is, of course, a form of torture. Perhaps it is for some, but for me it's beyond that. Perhaps it was so hard because I did not even anticipate being raped by the prison officer. Otherwise, someone who has a child waiting outside the prison would not consider killing herself. Now and again, my daughter asks me, when you tried to kill yourself, Mama, in the prison, did you even think of me? I said, do you really wish to know the truth? No. At that moment of time, I was not even thinking of you or anyone else. In those circumstances, I was only thinking of escaping from the pain. And then the problem was that I was, of course...
Did you tell your daughter the reason for such an action of yours?
No, I did not. I just said I was under a tremendous amount of pressure.
When did you tell her the truth then?
I told her the truth for the first time when I was about to give a talk here, 4 or 5 years ago. It was then when my husband learned about that experience of mine for the first time. And so did my daughter.
Didn't you tell them in private? Did they hear that in public, you mean,
No.
for the first time?
A couple of days before my talk, I told them. They thought I was just coming here to talk about my imprisonment. They had no idea that I was coming here to tell the tale of being raped. I did not wish to hurt my husband's feeling. Even now, he still blames himself for what I endured. Even my daughter is worried about me all the time. Last evening, she called me about 10 times asking me how I was. I kept reassuring her, saying, yes, I'm fine.